Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And it is South Africa versus Argentina this weekend. It should be a really interesting game because Argentina are on a bit of a different path to the box. You know, they haven't been together as long and are only now getting certain players back into camp. Certain players now sort of getting their first minutes in an Argentina shirt, which there are a couple of South Africans in the same boat, but through choice as opposed to through sort of extended layoffs from sort of postseason stuff. So it's interesting to see where two teams at different sort of stages in their preparation for the World Cup meet and how they sort of go about their business. And for me, I think it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how the Boks play in terms of the game plan and how Argentina sort of look to try and counteract that. Michael Cheika says they believe that they can win, and they've definitely got the players to do it. But at the same time, the last game on South African soil for the Boks before the World Cup, this is kind of their send-off match, and they really can't afford, therefore, to sort of let it slip. So we're going to look at the two teams, we're going to look at the lineups and exactly sort of what you can expect this weekend. We will be live for the game, as well as the World Cup game between Australia and New Zealand, to come and join us over the weekend. Before you do that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. That is the Springbok lineup. And a couple of changes, some very interesting changes. So it's actually not the Springbok line. I'm trying to get the right one going here. Because Stephen Kitsov is starting, not Thomas the Toy. But we'll get there. So as soon as I pull that up, it's an interesting game for a lot of players. And we've been talking about it a lot with regards to... we actually have a fan forum sort of episode, and we're talking a little bit about, is this the last opportunity for certain players? And it's interesting to sort of see what the general feel is about some of the players who are under a bit of pressure. You know, the likes of a JC Creel, for example, who is in the starting lineup this weekend and hasn't played yet this year, but is up against the Kanya and as a result, sort of the general sort of feeling is that, he's not good enough. But he's our only sort of option at 13. And he does start this weekend. There is the team. So he's one of the, I think, a couple of players who've got a bit of a point to prove. If we look at the front row, though, Stephen Kitsov, Malcolm Marx, France Malherbe, for me, those are our three best front rowers in terms of each of his positions. But not a combination we often see. So it'll be interesting to see how they do go. Evan Etzebeth gets another opportunity. He starts in back-to-back tests, but he's got a new block partner, Marvin Ory, who was very, very good against Australia. And I think probably needs one more good performance to sort of get that sort of ticket onto the plane. Marco Verstappen, P-Step, the Toy, and Dwayne Vermeulen are the loose trio that did decimate Australia. Marco Verstappen has a chance to sort of increase his stocks this weekend. Grant Williams, the first ever test start next to Manie Libbok. This is the combination that has everybody talking. It's two very exciting players, two very attacking natured players, and but two very inexperienced players at the same time. And I think, they complement the way that the Springbok public would like the Springboks to play, and to a certain degree, I think how the Boks would like to evolve. But a lot of it, when it comes to international rugby, is understanding when and when not to bring that sort of attacking flair. And this weekend, they've got an opportunity to sort of hone in on those decision-making abilities. Kurt Lawrence, the Chesney Colby, Billy LaRue. It's a form back three, isn't it? A lot of people have been asking for that Kurt Lawrence call up ahead of Mapimpi. They do get it this weekend. Damien Delendi in inside center, JC Creel outside center. I think it's a good combination. I think they need to give JC Creel time. I think Damien Delendi as well. I wouldn't say it was off it, but hasn't played rugby in a while. I think it'll be good to see those two as a combination this weekend as well. And then off the bench, a couple of players who need a bit of game time. Bongi Manambi not playing his best rugby, so I think he could use a bit of extra game time. Trevor Nyakani, we haven't seen this yet. I'm a massive Trevor fan. I think at one stage he was one of our best props. Seems to sort of fall down the pecking order, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes on tomorrow. Then Vincent Koch, tight head, no issues there. Arcus Neyman and Kwaka Smith in a 5-3 split. Arcus Neyman covers both locks. Kwaka Smith covers the entire back row, so pretty self-explanatory why you go with those two players specifically for the off the bench. Patrick Clerk gets an opportunity off the bench. Lekanya I don't think would have been part of this team if he was playing at his best rugby at the moment, but he does seem a little bit impeded by that knee injury, and so I think they'll want to get some more game time into him. And then Damien Willemse caps off that bench. If we look at Argentina, a couple of new players into the side. a couple of experienced players, or a experienced player that will not play in the likes of Augustin Creevy, who would have played his 100th game this weekend. I think probably a reason he's not playing is that they would like to have him to hit that milestone in Argentina. It'd be the first Argentinian player ever, in fact, to hit that milestone. So in the front row, it's unchanged. Thomas Gallo, Julian Montoya, the captains aside, and Francisco Gomez Cordella. There is an injury enforced change. Lucas Palos, who I thought was pretty good coming off the bench against Argentina, does partner Thomas Lavanini. He's a big boy as Palos, and so it's a very good tight five. And they'll provide a very stern task and test for that Springbok tight five as well. And then it's the loose trio that excites me so much. We all know what Pablo Matera is about. Santiago Grondona has an opportunity to sort of continue to work his way into sort of the framework, whilst Marcus Kremer is currently suspended. And then Jean-Marc Gonzalez, one of the most exciting loose trio or loose forwards in the world rugby, in fact. It gets another opportunity at 8. Off the bench and into the starting lineup does go Lautaro Bazin Velez. So Gonzalo Bertino drops down to the bench. Santiago Carreras continues to fly half, but a lot of other changings to the backline as well. Juan Imhoff gets his first outing of the season. As a result, Mateo Carreras switches the 11 for the 14. Santiago Chukwubaros is also back. He goes into inside centre. Lucio Cinti continues outside him. And Jean Cruz Malia is back and starts for Argentina. The first time, by the way, ever Michael Cheika has named a side without Emiliano Buffelli, who's not in the 23. Off the bench, Ignacio Ruiz, Naul Teta Chaparro, and Joel Slavi will be the reserve front row. Pedro Rubiero Facunda Uzo will be the replacement forwards, and then the likes of Gonzalo Bertrano, Matthias Moroni, who we've seen quite a bit so far in the first 2 weeks. But Thomas Albanese is back after a very impressive URC season, and he will deputize for Santiago Carreras. I think it's a game where Argentina will provide a test, but it's also a game where South Africa have to understand that we need to be able to beat teams like this, no matter what they bring. And I think that, we are the favorites, and we need to stop learning how to ride with that favorites tag. And so we need to go out and prove a point. But I think the main thing, I suppose, is a performance, maybe more than a result. It's kind of about us putting our processes together and making sure we play well and not just get a win. We need to tick a lot of boxes. But let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.